You want to build a stronger, more muscular chest? Stick around. Today we're talking about my favorite chest flies with bands. So let's get right into it. What you're gonna need is a pair of 41-inch resistance bands and a place to anchor your resistance bands to. We're using some wall anchors here from Clench Fitness, but you can use door anchor straps or like a squat rack, anything that'll give you something that's about arm's width apart so that we can get really good chest engagement. And to set this up, super simple. We're just gonna loop our band through our anchor point, and then I'm using a Clench band handle here because it makes these chest flies a lot more comfortable, and it's gonna allow us to stack multiple bands in here so that we can go up and down in resistance, and it just feels super comfortable. So I set this side up, that side is the same thing, and then to get into this chest fly, we're gonna start with a standing chest fly at basically chest level anchor points. And to get this set up, what we're gonna be doing here is try to stretch out those chest muscles. So that's why we want these anchor points to be far apart. We want that, basically that force pulling that humerus bone back, because the chest muscle, as it contracts, its sole purpose is basically to bring this humerus bone across the center line of your body. That's all it does. So you'll notice that as you pull this bone forward, that chest muscle starts to engage and it contracts and it gets hard. That's why a chest fly is probably the most chest engagement that you're gonna get, because it's acting right along that line of the muscle fibers, and it's parallel to those muscle fibers. So you get a really good contraction and you get good squeeze at the top. And what's great about the bands is that as we stretch them, the further we stretch them, the more tension that they output. So we're gonna be really weak here in this exercise when we get started, just because of the geometry. And then as we go forward, we'll get stronger and stronger as we get closer and closer to that midline of our body. So the band force will actually increase and keep up with the force production of the muscle. So my favorite way to set these up is basically step out away from the wall. We wanna make sure we get good tension on the bottom of this rep, pulling that chest open and apart, keeping our midsection and core nice and tight. And then we're gonna squeeze forward, pulling our biceps into our chest muscles. So you're trying to touch that bicep to your pec. Big squeeze at the top, and then control it on the way down, and a big stretch at the bottom. We don't wanna overstretch it because that's gonna pull in a lot more of that front delt. We're really just trying to isolate these pecs and really force some blood into them, and that squeeze at the top with a nice pause, and then a slow 2 to 3 second eccentric, I've found gives a lot more engagement than just running through these reps with no control. So that is how we do the chest fly, the standing chest fly with bands. And this is at the center anchor point. And that's what's that gonna target? It's basically right across the midline of your chest. All right, so another variation of this, all we changed is the anchor point. So we went from this chest high anchor up to a high anchor point, and that's just gonna target a little bit different region of the chest. So now you can see that it's pulling me up a little bit more. And when I go to contract, I actually wanna kind of lean a little bit forward here just to kind of balance it out. And then when I contract, I'm pulling it kind of down towards my belly button, or like same height as my navel region. And it's the same form as before, but now we're squeezing and we're contracting on the low end. So that's gonna target a little bit more of the lower pecs. One more variation of the standing banded chest fly. Basically, we've now moved down to a low anchor point. So having a low anchor point is going to target our upper chest muscles. And the reason for that being is the bands are now pulling us down and back. So when we go to contract this, you wanna follow that same direction of the band, and we're gonna bring our arms up high, kind of about like chin level, nose level, and just focusing on that big squeeze at the top. And I kind of like to be a little underhanded or like supinated with my hands as I'm going up, and I'm just kind of like sweeping up with a big squeeze at the top. It's all about that contraction at the top and really getting those chest muscles to fully engage and contract, and then controlling it on the way down. Okay, here is one of my favorite ways to set up banded chest flies. So we're gonna use an incline bench here, and I kind of have this bench butted up against the plyo box just so that when I put some tension on it or put like some leg pressure, I don't have to worry about the bench sliding into the wall. And I pull it away from the wall so that when I sit down in here, I have good tension at the bottom. That's gonna be the biggest thing that you're trying to set up with the distance away from the wall. You want the band to have really good tension at the very, bottom of this rep. And then I also have multiple bands hooked up here so that I can easily just pop between different resistance levels or stack bands between sets to make this super quick, super easy. You can do supersets, you can do drop sets, whatever you need to do without getting too overcomplicated on the setup. And then to set this up, or to actually do the exercise, you're just gonna reach over, grab your band handles, and I like to kind of walk my back down a little bit to get a little bit of an arch just so that my chest is getting all of the activation here. And then when I sweep through this rep, I'm driving my toes into the floor and then squeezing those chest muscles together, big squeeze, and then letting it down nice and slow and really opening up those chest muscles. And then a big squeeze again, let it down nice and slow. And again, it's all about that squeeze at the top of the rep, and you can feel really good engagement. And then you can also change the angle of your bench to kind of hit different angles of the chest. I prefer kind of this 45-degree angle, just because I feel like that gets me the best overall engagement. But I will vary, I'll go up a couple clicks or down a couple clicks just to hit different regions of the chest. But honestly, this is my absolute favorite way to do chest flies with bands because it isolates everything. When you're doing the standing version, you get a little bit more core engagement and your stabilization, which is good. But if you're really trying to just go all out and build super strong chest muscles with one exercise, I recommend the bench version. So what do I recommend for like sets and reps, or how to program this into your workouts? Typically with this, I'll usually do around 3 to 4 sets of like the 10 to 15 rep range. And then as I progress through my sets, my last set is usually the working set. That's where I'll have the highest resistance level. And you basically are in the very bottom of that rep range, kind of near that 8 to 10 rep range. And that should take like every ounce of energy you got to squeeze out those last couple of reps. That's how you know you're really getting into that good hypertrophy and strength. And another technique that I really like to use with these chest flies is a rest pause set. So that'll be, I will replace my last working set with a rest pause set, which will be basically be, it's like 3 mini sets in one. So I'll do heaviest resistance from all 3 of my sets, and then it'll be as many reps as I can do, take a 15-second break, and then another bout of it till failure, and then another 15-second break, and then one more round to failure. So it's like 3 little sets right in a row with 15 seconds in between. And I really just feel like that gives excellent hypertrophy. And also because the reps kind of stay low, you'll get a lot of strength gains out of it as well. All right, so there's my favorite chest flies with bands. And personally, I think that these chest flies are very, very good at engaging the chest muscles, even better than like cable flies or dumbbell flies. So give them a try. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, if you liked what you saw today, be sure to smash that like button and check out these on-screen video links for more content just like this. We have tons of content on our channel, and I'd love for you to stay with us and keep watching. And also, if you need any of the resistance bands or accessories thrown today, head over to clenchfitness.com and we will hook you up. And thank you for watching.